So welcome everyone, this is Abu and we're going to do our regular Game of Thrones preview of the matches to come for Game Week 6. Next week I'll say, but tomorrow the matches are going to be Egg Fried Rice, Shah Mahmood versus Asphalt and Reserves, Dan Dixon. Flying Pigs versus K. Carroll, that's Edward versus Mahia. Don't Give Me the Sacco versus the Cronutters, James versus myself. And Weidenweiser versus Benesh in my rear view, Nicholas versus Gregor. And also Great Balls of Fire versus John's now FC, Benesh versus John. So let's start with the first game. Egg Fried Rice versus Asphalt and Reserves, Sham versus
the
Dan.
most important game of the weekend, of the season.
Of the season.
This is where I show Dan how a proper team plays.
So
See, I'm saying all
Dan
this
had
and I'm just really worried inside.
Dan had a very good week last week. So Dan had a very good week last week. He scored an impressive 60 points. That is a very good turnaround. But the flip side of that is it was Hazard who got him 20 points. Hazard has returned to his
home. He's returned home.
to his handler.
Yeah.
Sham Mahmood.
Just to point out there, probably worthwhile noting how well he performed with Dan, and let's see how he performs this week with Sham.
It's just what you're trying to say is it's more to do with the manager than it is the player itself.
Exactly.
Yeah, that could make.
Or maybe the team that they were playing as well. It was sided towards. It was sided for Eden to play well, and generally speaking, a lot of players that have a hat trick struggle in the next game, but. My team is strong. My team is stronger than just Hazard alone. It shows that I can still win game weeks without Hazard. Showcasing how good my differentials are.
So Dan, over to you.
So in the Game of Thrones theme, I like to model my team on the faceless men. You never quite know what they're going to look like next. And you think they might look like one thing, they'll look very different.
Dan's strike force is looking pretty average. Dan, who do you have up front?
No, I'm not going to have that. Wilson's got him points. Deeney is goal on, goal off, and he was goal off last week. And Rondon's just waiting. Rondon's coming now.
I think so. And somebody else with an average strike force, Sham?
Hey man, you know what? My strike force beat like an Arsenal/Chelsea strike force.
I will give you that.
Yeah. Jimenez, Ings. And I've forgotten my third. Rashford as well. Yeah, can't forget about him.
Is he still suspended?
Yes, he is. But he's resting. He can rest. It's fine. I can just have one up front. I've made a few changes, or one change up front, and a few changes in defence. But I'm feeling very confident. I have a good selection of players. My midfield is just ridiculous. Richarlison comes back. He plays against Arsenal. Me being an Arsenal fan, and I'll be there at the stadium. I'll be the only Arsenal fan rooting for Richarlison to score some goals, but hoping for Arsenal to come back with a win of 4-3. But yeah, no, I'm confident. Dan's got a ridiculous team. I mean, I can't match up against him. I can't use differentials like I did with John. It's going to be difficult, but hopefully it'll work out for me.
It has to be said that Sham's statistical analysis is probably the best in the league. I don't know if it works out for him, but he does make a lot of effort. Vinesh, do you have any thoughts on this match?
I think it's very interesting. I think they've both been active on the transfer market as well. I'd say very active. Both teams have changed considerably. It's been an interesting outcome.
So let's have a...
Well, I was going to say, just one of my signings throws into question potential punishment for the rest of the league, where if you have your team name after a player and you don't own that player, there should be repercussions.
Potential forfeit. Yeah, that's true.
So
Not naming any names, James.
My big signing of Sacco
throws everything into... Yeah, no worries.
But then doesn't that come up with the same for Mahir as well, with Carroll?
If anyone wants to buy
Unless someone wants to buy just to force Mahir to...
Predictions, everybody. Vinesh, what do you think?
Looking at the squads and the analysis, it's a Dan win.
Yeah.
What?
So what I think Hazard's had his big game. He's due a knee injury, so I think Dan's going to win this one as well. Sham?
Wow, I have no friends in this league.
Well, this doesn't count for... this doesn't count.
This does count. This counts for everything. I think I can win. I think I'm going to win with my I'm just going to keep it short there. I'm going to come back with a win.
Dan?
I reckon there's going to be 2 points in it either way.
Yeah.
And my record seems to be win 2 games big, lose 2 games by 2 points, and then lose big. So I'm going to go for a draw.
Draw.
Wow.
2 wins for Dan, 1 for Sham, and Dan
And a
himself has
draw.
picked a draw. So this is going to be interesting.
I think if I had better strikers, I'd be confident.
Yeah.
But, you know, these are the dealings that have come back to bite me later on in the
But
season.
then, I mean, it could pay off. I mean, I've put all my eggs in the Crystal Palace basket where I've tripled up.
So you're saying I should play Saka as a differential?
Ooh,
Potentially,
even here.
potentially, yeah.
Okay.
But, we'll see.
Thanks, guys. So next game is Flying Pigs versus K Carroll.
The battle of the FDMers.
So these are the prodigal FDMers that are at HSBC.
Yeah.
Edward Simmons versus Mahia Golkani.
Used to be the Rombi team, the Rombi Dream Team FDMers, now in different programs.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So Mahia, well, he doesn't need a mention really.
Yeah.
The guy won the last league and he won the World Cup league as well. His team is doing relatively well. He lost last week to James, which was a bit of a shame. But potentially he could do something. It depends
There
what
might
kind
have
of
been
transfers he's made.
that might have been a strategy amongst them two to
Exactly.
maybe for Mahir to lose the game deliberately for James to get out that bottom zone.
And
Is that why
also,
James left Fraser on the bench with 18 points?
Yeah, absolutely right.
and Ed himself, lost last week to our very own Dan.
Mine-
Ed got 40
Ed,
points.
Ed got 40 points.
Surprisingly,
He scored
with
very
the
well.
self-sabotage.
dreadful team.
It's true.
If Dan didn't have Hazard, that game would be a very, very close one.
Well, it would. Yeah, I mean,
It would've
Dan would have
swayed it.
won by 2, and that's not enough to beat John, right? So you would have been bottom.
Yeah.
Let's not traffic in what ifs and might have beens.
I mean, Mahir's got a great team. Ed's, made some unfortunate trades due to
Incompetence.
bullying, manager bullying, and but he's turned it around. He's still getting like good average points. I mean, in the last game week, he still got 40 points, which is
Third highest.
third highest. Still really good. So against Mahir, it's gonna be a struggle. Same with Mahir. I mean, Firmino had to play the full 90 minutes in the Champions League. So potentially there could be some tiredness. Klopp also mentioned that there's a potential for Sturridge to play this game week as well. So not quite sure with Firmino. He's not going to get the full 90 minutes of game time. So that could potentially harm him.
Plus, he's got a bit of an injury, right?
Firmino did come on as a sub.
Yeah.
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 Came on as a late sub and scored that winner. But yeah, he's a risk. I think Mahir's savvy enough to have picked up 1 or 2 players that will edge him through with Ed.
Yeah. Leading on, predictions?
I'm going to predict a draw. Ed's team actually have been doing pretty well, and I think Mahir's been enjoying points wise. And I think Mahir might have made a few transfers this week. I think it might power out as a draw on this one.
I think I'm going to go with Mahir. He always seems to find a way, so yeah, Mahir. Sham?
You know what? I'm gonna say Ed. I think Ed's got a good team, and I feel like basically he's made a few changes now post bullying stages. So with Hennessy on the bench, he's definitely going to get a clean sheet. Valencia, Vertonghen, and Gomez, they're definitely going to get a clean sheet. So he's going to get at least 20 points from his defence, and potentially, from his midfield, he's going to get another 20 there. So I think that's enough to beat Mahir.
He's got Fabian Grosch now, isn't he?
Oh yes,
Pascal
yeah, he
Grosch.
does have Grosch.
That's
Yeah,
on average between 0 and minus.
yeah, 0
1.
and -1 at the moment. So yeah.
Interesting, Dan. What's your prediction?
Yeah, I'm going Mahir. I think he just does enough to get the results.
Yeah, so again, 2 wins, 1 draw, and then 1 for Ed.
Yeah.
Nice and evens again. So our next game, don't give me the Sacco without Sacco, James Lee, and Cronutters. So I guess I'll start talking on this one. Yeah, I won a game last week. I'm quite happy. I don't think I lost a game yet.
Yeah, you sound surprised.
It was a very close game against Nicholas last week. And it was Brighton with their brilliant comeback that cost Nicholas's points. This game week, I don't actually feel very confident. I think James, he had a win last time round. He's on a high, and I think he might just turn it around. I know he's now got Pogba in his team, and also John Stones. So
Oh.
He's made some very good transfers.
Wow, he's definitely strengthened up his squad.
Stones has only started 2 or 3 games.
But he hasn't played. He didn't play for the last game week.
Yeah, so he's going to be on this
Yeah.
time round. I
He,
think.
he didn't play the Champions League,
Yeah. So he'll be him
so
and
he should
company
get a
on.
game. Exactly.
Pogba's getting his goals out of the system.
I'm
in
hoping,
Champions
yeah.
League.
Yeah.
I think the thing about your team is similar to Shams is that Kane hasn't fired yet, Salah hasn't fired yet. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there'll come a time when Kane will get 2 or 3 goals and fire it through, and it could be this weekend.
So I'm a bit worried because I've also lost Ben Davis, so I had to take him out of my team due to.
Well, that's basically the spine of your team. Your sub left back.
Exactly.
He's gonna be
I'm really worried now. I'm really worried.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's quite lucky with your sacrifice. You've ended up with a
Wolverhampton.
Wolves defender in Doherty. He did fantastically well last game week as well. So it's looks like you've done well there.
And a lot of people tried to get him in the waivers, and
They messed up on their own. Yeah, they failed on their own accords. Yeah.
And I think the player of the round last week was James. So let's speak about James's team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean James has got just a fantastic team. I mean with the additions that he's got, like you guys mentioned before, it's pretty amazing.
Makes some moves.
And he's always active. He really is pushing his team around. I do know on the waivers today that he's transferred out Felipe and Anderson for Yarmolenko. So Yarmolenko scored a brace last game week. So yeah, I mean there's potential for there, but West Ham's fixtures don't look that great.
yeah, I think Arnautovic dug him out of the hole last weekend.
Definitely
The
did, yeah.
fixtures don't look great.
Yeah.
They may have used up a fair bit of their luck against Everton last week.
And Fraser with 18 on the bench as well.
But Fraser's gone now, so now
Yeah, so he's
he's
not
got
there anymore.
Pogba and
Yeah.
Stones instead
Yeah.
of
Van Dijk is left.
It's a right run of fixtures that, well,
Yeah.
they've
Potentially, yeah. I mean, Pogba's. I mean, if he plays, if he starts, I feel like he could definitely potentially get like at least one goal through a penalty or an assist anyway. He's definitely got it in for enough to do that. But has he got enough to get the points that Fraser gets? I don't think so. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a tight one this game. Yeah, Abu's on this unbelievable form. It'd be hard to see him lose it here.
Predictions, Dan?
I'm saying Abu carrying on his run of winning without being spectacular and just doing enough, and James carrying on his run of mostly scoring lots of points and losing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say Abu. I mean, like it's statistically, it just proves that Abu just keeps winning head-to-heads. He knows how to play the man, and yeah, I think he's just gonna do the same here.
Ganesh?
I'm picking James to win this game. With the transfers that he's made, I reckon this weekend, looking at the Premiership fixtures, the games might be in his favour.
Yeah.
So James.
So those transfers of Stones who you gave away and Pogba who you turned your nose up every single week
They were
of the
good,
season.
but these weren't good enough for my squad.
But in terms of predictions, I'm actually going to go with James as well.
Yeah.
I think my winning run is going to come to an end. James is riding that wave of success at the moment.
Yeah,
with
he
Dubai.
is.
Didn't you say that last week?
He says that every week.
But Nicholas is an Aston Villa fan, so.
This is hustling
Yeah.
unbelievably.
Yeah.
There's no.
No, I
everyone's
predicted
gonna
a win last week. I got unanimous.
Oh, she?
Yeah,
No,
I
he
did.
did.
I
Yeah,
did.
yeah, he did.
So 2-all, 2 wins for me and 2 wins for
ooh.
Ganesh.
Yeah. By the way, before we start, we're at this Brazilian bar. And we've got alcohol and got some drinks, but Binesh has just not had any of his. So on the
I
court.
think it's evaporated.
Is it?
And then everything's gone down.
I mean, he
The
needs
ice is
to.
melting and it's going
No,
up.
I think you need to like drink a bit more. Go
Yeah.
So whilst Ganesh has his sip,
on. Imaginary sip.
we move on to the next
Evaporated.
lineup. The next head-to-head, Weidenweiser, Nicholas versus Ganesh in my review.
I've got to
Stewart.
say,
Now
you-
before you
you're
say
the-
something, Sham. So these are the lone buddies.
Oh.
Last game week.
Yeah.
Who's Aguero going to turn up for this?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Last game week, Nicholas loaned out Aguero to Greg to beat Ganesh, and that happened.
Yep.
But unfortunately, Nicholas lost with Zaha in his team, so it's going to be interesting. I
Yeah.
think Greg's still holding on to Aguero at the moment.
No, he's made the transfer.
Has he handed
back.
him
Yeah,
over?
yeah, he's
Okay.
handed it back.
But then Greg loaned out Walcott to Nicholas as well when Nicholas played me.
Yeah.
Indeed. So there seems to be some sort of agenda here.
Yeah, exactly.
So they hate you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Good luck
And
to
I
him.
also think Walcott is enough to beat your team.
The fact that he got injured and a point only.
I know, right? I know.
Yeah. Great to see how much strategy they put into it.
So let's start with Greg's team. Sham, what are your thoughts?
I
He's done really well, Joe Hart.
Yeah, I mean, since he got him in, he's only got him 3 points. But I mean, he's done fantastically well with Chris Smalling. That was an amazing transfer that he's done on the waivers.
A worthy
Picked
of a
up-
goal as well.
Yeah, worldy of a goal.
I'd say just lucky.
Amazing goal. I mean, he does get lucky, but he has a good, solid squad. Milner, again, that person that will get penalties for Liverpool. Liverpool are playing Spurs. Is that correct?
So looking at Greg's squad, it's
Yeah,
very.
played Spurs already.
Liverpool have got Southampton.
Yeah.
So Greg's squad is very blue and red. I don't know what
That's
that means.
that's an amazing,
Extra
that's
analysis
an
here.
amazing stat there.
Greg, your team's very blue.
But I mean, Liverpool Southampton is good. I mean, something tells me that it's going to be a little bit of a dirty game. If that's the case, then there's going to be a pen here and there. And if that was to happen, then Milner's first shout. Alexis, he's got to come true now, surely. And Aguero, he's given back for. Zaha and Zaha, Crystal Palace have got an amazing
It's a
run.
weird trade anyway, right? Like, if you're trying to win, you keep Aguero and Zaha.
You'd think so, and you get rid of Calvert-Lewin, but I feel like this was a very fair. I feel like this was a very fair trade between the two of them. As Greg wanted Aguero, he didn't want to, damage Nicholas's team too much. So there was a lot of respect given to each player.
So moving on to Nicholas's team, I'm going to stick with my analysis of analysing teams by colour. Again, it's a very blue team, so I don't know what that means, but yeah, it's blue.
Chelsea, Everton, Leicester.
Yeah, the problem here again is that it's going to be the same problem as Nick faced last week, where he's got a Southampton back three, and I mean now they're playing Liverpool. You know they're gonna eke in some goals.
Southampton are quite a bit of a bogey team for Liverpool, you know.
They are,
So it's,
but I mean it doesn't. I mean Liverpool still can score against them. Yeah, it's going to be.
He's got Martial and Son on the
it's a tough
bench.
one.
Martial did score, was it on Wednesday?
Yes.
And Son is back from international duty, so potentially he can bring him in. But weirdly, he's got 2 Chelsea players, 3 Southampton players, 3 Crystal Palace players. So he likes to bunch up with these teams.
So I just following on from what Sham said, I think the Southampton game will make or break his team. Clean sheet, that's best part of 20 points straight away. Give them a head start against Greg.
Yeah.
If they concede, I think it's pretty even.
Because last week when I was playing Nicholas, at one point he had 50 points due to a Southampton clean sheet, and then it all kind of fell apart after that.
Yeah, he's risking everything, like from one team, 3 players, 3 potential points, and this was this is what we were mentioning in the game week 5 review. Really, I mean, you need to split your players out, and you know if you are going to group up, if you are going to bunch up, then bunch up with a high level team like a Liverpool midfield or a Arsenal midfield or Man City even. So but as Southampton defence, it's definitely going to be a struggle.
Yeah. So predictions, guys. Vinesh.
For me, I think it's going to be a Greg win,
Greg.
based on his squad.
With me, I think Nicholas is going to do it just purely because Aguero's home now, and he has a point to prove.
For me, I think it's going to be Greg, and I think Nicholas is going to fall through from those Southampton players again.
Dan?
City have got Cardiff away.
Cardiff away.
Looking to bounce back. I think Aguero will swing it for Nick.
Yeah.
So that's 3 for Greg and 3 for Nick and 1 for Greg.
Yeah, exactly. Not bad. Okay, moving on to our final head-to-head of the week. Great Balls of Fire, Binesh Karabadra versus bottom of the table, John's Now FC. Binesh, thoughts, please?
Oh, it's been John being bottom of the table, but he has actually got some very strong players, which I'm quite concerned about, especially his Arsenal up front. Of course, who scored a good amount of points. They scored a good amount of points last week. It worries me a bit, I must say. You know, I'm actually thinking this round could be one where it could be a second defeat in a row if I've not done the right moves tactically for the weekend.
I do agree with you. I think John's got a very strong strike force. Lacazette, Aubameyang, and Giroud. I can't believe I just said Giroud.
And Sterling as well.
Yeah, exactly. He's also got Lingard and Pedro. So Pedro was firing at the start of the season.
He was, yeah.
He's got a squad
But
that can keep 10 points on the
it's,
bench. So he's, you know.
Sarri keeps replacing. He's using Pedro or Willian for the games. And last game week he used Willian. So in theory he'd use Pedro this game week. But you never know. Willian had an amazing round, amazing game. So you know there's a likelihood that he'll use Willian again.
And then he also has Edison in goal, so it's a game of the Manchester goalkeepers. Vinesh himself has De Gea in his squad. Vinesh, any thoughts on your squad?
I've made a few transfers that we, try to, keep up with the pace of what's going on at the moment. But I'm feeling quite confident overall. In general, I think I made a few good moves. It all depends on the fixtures in the league itself. So
Talk us through your midfield, Vinesh.
there's been changes since. No real strategy behind it. I've just placed whoever's not injured.
Sorry,
in the
what-
middle of the midfield.
Sorry, what changes
From right
did
to
you
left,
make?
from right to left, who's your first midfielder? Granit.
Can't really see from here, but let's just say they're good players.
So Granit Xhaka on the right.
Yeah.
He scored a goal last season.
Last week.
Scored his only free kick.
No, this is the only goal of this season. Yeah, that's it.
Epic,
That's what you
epic.
meant to say, right?
And your man in the middle, is his name Vinesh?
Cheryl.
Sure.
Andre Schürrle. So no, Vinesh has not made a transfer. It's actually Andre Schürrle who's been playing this team for the last few weeks.
That's it.
Yeah, they had a difficult fixture last week, but this time around, I think he could.
Yeah.
He could bag a few goals.
And he's got a new addition into his team, which is Sadio Mane.
Yeah.
Um,
Sadio Mane had a bit of a bust up.
And
He
new
left
old.
and then came back.
yeah, a new
Yeah,
old
the temperature tantrum.
temper tantrum. He saw an opportunity to move to Asphalen and then realised once he was there that he felt sorry and he wanted to do his bit for charity and came back home.
He felt bad for Vinesh.
He felt bad.
He actually
I mean,
thought if I wanted a chance of having a title, I need to be with the top teams, and made sense for him to come back.
So Vinesh has also, as part of that initial running away process, Mane and both Wilson ran away, and only Mane came back.
Yeah.
With Jesus.
But I think for me this game is all about the Arsenal result.
Yeah. Agreed.
Everton haven't, I don't think they've kept a clean sheet all season. They have been a bit shaky at the back. So I think if Aubameyang and Lacazette get firing, I think this could be a tough one for Vinesh. If Welbeck comes on and gets a
Goal
toe
or
post
assist,
from a
yeah.
yard, then that might put him back into it.
Exactly. It's going to be the Arsenal game, which generally happens when you play John. Anyone who ever plays John, the game just hinges on Arsenal.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah. And I mean, another negative about Vinesh's team, really. I mean, one of the biggest losses, other than the manager, is
Transfer.
Diverse colours of kits.
is the loss of Alisson and Alexander Trent, which is it's a devastating loss. I mean, it's that was one of the core aspects of Vinesh winning, and
It's true, but he has got in Rudiger and
he has got in
potentially.
Rudiger and
One replacement,
Kepa,
yeah.
which Kepa.
There is strategy behind it. Liverpool have got some tough games coming up after Southampton.
Yeah.
It might be worth offering now rather than being more difficult.
Isn't one of them against Chelsea who Kepa and Rudiger play for?
Yes, it is. It is. But I'm picking Chelsea for a win with the performance they're having.
Interesting. Okay, predictions, Dan?
I'm gonna go John.
Excuse me. Sorry, I just heard you said John.
Oh, I said John.
Sorry, the question was.
John, the
who
team.
did-
Any thoughts on why you've chosen John?
I think Arsenal will score a few on the Sunday afternoon game, and I don't think it'll be a huge scoring one, but I reckon
Yeah.
5-6 points in between.
Sham?
Yeah, I think John too. I think last game week must have hurt him a lot.
So
and
for the listener, Vinesh is sticking his fingers up.
yeah, he is. He's swearing at everyone right now.
Again,
but-
not really understanding how predictions.
But yeah, I mean, I think John's going to come back and he's going to change his squad. And this time round, I hope he changes his formation and includes Giroud into the squad. If he does that, his strike force should come back with a victory.
John, you're allowed to change players or substitute players.
John,
it's
just-
not cheating. It's not some kind of
Just
purist
put
rule.
Aubameyang on the bench. Yeah. That's it. It's fine.
Just when you play me, just keep doing that. Keep leaving it as 5-3-2 and leaving as much people injured on the pitch. That would be great for me. But,
So I think with finish, Mane is back. Potentially he might fire, and now he's got Jesus in his life. I think he might just do it.
Thanks, Abu.
We've established Jesus is no good for Greg or I. So we really think he's going to be easier, better under.
Depends on the management style, right? So he could be
Yeah.
performing with me.
So Binesh, what's your prediction?
It's gonna be a win for me. Yeah, Mane's in.
How confident are you?
Are you going to put a bet on this? Then?
Yeah. Do you want to put a bet on this?
Oh, John, yeah, message me if you want to do a bet.
No point messing it. We're gonna do a live bet on air.
I'll do a bet
No,
with John.
If you
Face
lose,
to face. I
if
don't
you-
do it. No.
No. If you lose, you have to wear a I Love Jesus T-shirt on.
I'll do a
And
bet
you have
with
to
John
come
directly.
in.
John,
You have to come into the
once you listen to
office.
this podcast, John.
come into the office with an I Love Jesus T-shirt.
No, I think you should do an essay on why Mane is a rubbish player.
Oh, okay. That could be interesting.
And how you haven't used him properly.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's it in return if I win?
You will get a compliment.
You'll
No,
get
So we know
you'll
John
get-
admires you quite a bit. So
Yeah.
maybe a love letter, some sort of essay to
Yeah.
Binesh.
I need John to agree to
Compliment
that.
you.
Okay.
He
Okay.
does. As his proxies.
Yeah, he does wear his proxies. Yeah, we can help him on that.
So that's the deal. That wraps up our predictions. Before we leave, I want the guys to make a prediction on who they think is going to be the top scoring player of the game week. Last week it was Hazard. Who's it going to be this week?
Hazard's had his moment. I think it's going to be Mane. Because he's playing Southampton, he's going to bang in 2 goals, I think.
Someone's
16
drunk.
points, I reckon.
What's this drink called? Caballero.
Ice water.
Yeah, I think you've had a bit too much of that.
It's funny because it doesn't look like he's.
He doesn't have. It doesn't look like he's drunk any of it. But yeah, for me, it's gonna be Aguero. I don't think. I think Aguero is just gonna fire in some goals. I think that's gonna either that or Richarlison. If I want
So
to
it
be a
can
little
only
bit
be
fun.
one.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's the one.
Aguero.
I think. Done?
I reckon someone like Sterling.
Yeah.
Cardiff will sit quite deep. They'll struggle with pace running at them.
Yeah.
Goal and a couple of assists from Sterling.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Jimenez. Shams
Wow.
managed him really well, and then I think he's due a hat-trick.
Yeah.
I'm just joking, not really. It's never gonna
Against
happen.
United at Old Trafford.
You wait till he does it now.
Yeah.
No, I'd go with Aguero as well. I think he looked lively.
If he
on
does it,
Wednesday.
I'll wear his T-shirt every Friday for the rest of the
Wow.
Wait. If he doesn't, if he's not the top scorer.
year. If he
Jimenez.
is. If he scores a hat trick.
Oh, him it is. Oh, fine.
Jimenez, yeah.
Okay, and who do you guys think is going to be the highest scoring team of the week?
Ooh.
I'm
I'm going to go John. Given I've now bumped for Sterling and I think Arsenal are going to score points, I may roll back on my previous prediction. So John's going to score a shed load.
I'd love to say my team, but I've never hit top spot in the highest game week score, so I would
Get used
have
to
to
that.
say. Finish just suddenly got some jokes.
Finish, where are you in the league?
Yeah.
second.
Wow.
Actually, I'm not adding that in the podcast.
Sorry, I'd say Nick. I think Nick's gonna have to get the top scores.
Because Jose Aguero.
Yeah, because of
Yeah.
Aguero. Yeah.
Finish?
I'm going to say Dan. He's got some interesting transactions, and I think with the game that's going to be played, I think he might.
It's funny how this relationship works. Like Dan insults you, and then you.
It's a
compliment
love-hate
Dan.
relationship.
Yeah.
So, funnily enough, I want to see a kind of Real Madrid here, so I want to see Dan just to break his score. I'd be interested because then he'll beat Sham quite easily. That'd be interesting.
I think it's going to be a high scoring game between myself and Dan.
I think it will as well. I think Dan's
we
got a
got-
lot
we
of
got-
points.
Now I've got a couple of Liverpools in. I'm rooting for the clean sheet.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I need the clean sheet for Liverpool.
Yeah.
Just to give the platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need Salah to really, pick it up and get some goals in. If I can get Salah to score some goals, Eden Hazard is always going to score, and Richarlison, I think he's going to come back firing. So, if I could get Salah to do it as well, then I should be good with a high scoring game.
Awesome.
Brilliant. That wraps us up. Thank you all for joining in. Thanks, guys, for being here and
Thank you.
conversing. Good luck to everybody who's playing this weekend, and may the best men win. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Abby.